In today's video, I'm going to show you how to build the track for the miniature train. So let's get started. Again, just like the other videos, you do not have to do this next step. I'm going to insert a canvas so you can see the numbers that I'm going to be grabbing from. So I'm going to insert and we will grab just part of that picture. And we'll look at the front. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so I can see what's going on. That is looking pretty good. So I'm going to slide it over here. So let's get started. I'm going to start a new sketch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to build this front view down here. So I'm going to start off with a simple rectangle. If I look at those numbers, I can see the width is 3.4. And I can see the height. I'm going to just hit tab, and the height is 1.0. So that's what I'm going to start off with a simple rectangle. Now, if I look at these carefully, you'll see that I have two other smaller rectangles inside of that one. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw two smaller rectangles. One here, one here. And we'll go and dimension that. So if I'm looking at this carefully, the first little rectangle, it says it's 0.4 over to the first edge and 0.75 to the second edge. So let's do that. Let's zoom back in. We'll dimension from our first edge over, and that was 0.4. And our second edge was 0.75. So let's put that in, 0.75. Okay, let's go look at our other little square here. We look at this one down here, it says to this edge is 2.65. To the far edge, it's going to be 3.0. So let's put those two in. So let's dimension from our edge over, that was 2.65. Enter, and our far edge was 3 inches. So let's dimension 3 on that one. So now I'm going to figure out how far down these go. So we look back at our picture. It's going to tell us right here, 0.25 from the top down for both of those. So let's go back to dimension from the top to that bottom, 0.25. And I can do the same thing on the other side, from the top to the bottom, 0.25. So there's my first one. So let's finish this sketch. We're going to extrude. Well, now we got to figure out how far back. So if we look at these two pictures, this is called a broken view. But I have the dimension from the far edge to the front edge, and that is 12 inches. So let's put that in. Let's extrude that shape, and let's go isometrically so you can see what's happening. I'm going to push that back, and I'm going to make that 12 inches. In this case, it'll be minus 12 because I'm going backwards, but we'll put that in. So there's the first part of my track right there. So let's see what we have next. Next, we have this little piece sticking out here, this little bulb here. And as you can see, it is 1.7 over from the center. So hint, it's right down the middle. And it's 1.0 out from the edge. The radius is 0.7. So let's get that going here. So let's go look at the top face. So I'm going to put a new sketch on this top face. So what we're going to do is I'm going to make a little line. I'm going to start right here. I'm going to bring that out. And actually, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to make that a construction line. So this distance should be 1.0. Right? Now I'll zoom in a little bit. Now, if I double check, because I made this right through the middle, if I dimension from this line over this edge, it should be 1.7. And there we go. 1.7 created driven dimension. Yes. So now let's put a circle in. Let's get out of construction mode. Let's put a circle in. Right? That radius was 0.7, but we need to double that. We're going to put in the diameter. So we're going to multiply by 2. All right. So let's go back and see what other numbers we have here. If I zoom into my little sketch right here, this sketch right here. So we got 1.7 in, we have the 1 in, we have 0.7 times 2. So we need this little square piece here at 0.6. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it a little bit differently. So let's look at our top view. And let's zoom into our area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to create, and I'm going to go to rectangle, center point rectangle. I'm going to start right here at the center, and I'm going to bring my rectangle down and into my circle a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to dimension it from one edge to the other edge. That's supposed to be 0.6. Okay. What I'll do now is if I want, I can come and I can create, or I can trim out, I should say, some of these line works that I don't need. So inside the circle, I don't need some of this box part. And I don't need this upper box part. Whoops, I don't want that one. Undo. I do want to keep that one line. Okay. So I got that kind of shape. So I am going to hit finish sketch. And it has a radius on here. We're going to put the radiuses on in 3D. Okay. So I'm going to go extrude that shape right there. I'm going to go to isometric view so you can see what's going on. Now, I'm going to bring this down. Now, I know this goes 1 inch, so I can just type in 1 inch here. So I'm going to type in this. In this case, it's going down, so minus 1 inch. I'm going to put the other tongue in, and then I'm going to come back, and I forgot one dimension here, but I'm going to wait to the end. I'm going to put them all in at once. This 0.19 radius, because I have the same thing up here on this cutout. So this is a cutout. Let's take a look at the cutout. Well, it's 1 inch in. The radius is 0.75. And that little square distance, that is 0.65. So let's come up here. Let's put a new sketch right on this top. Let's pan it down so we zoom in a little bit. Again, I'm going to make a line, construction line, from that center point when that little triangle pops up. I'm going to come down here. That was 1 inch. I'm going to get out of my construction mode. I'm going to make my little circle right at the end of that line. And that radius was 0.75. So I'm going to double that because I need the diameter. So I'm going to say times 2. I'm going to do the same thing with my center point rectangle. I'm going to grab my center point rectangle. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to make it big. And now I need to dimension this. And that was 0.65. Okay. We're looking good. We're going to hit finish sketch. We're going to hit extrude. We're going to grab all those shapes. And we're just going to cut them down. And I'm going to come over here to the side for distance. I'm going to hit all. I'm going to cut that all out. So the last thing that we have on here is we have this radius, 1.19 here and 0.19 up at the top. So I need to put those radiuses in. So I'm going to do this in 3D mode. I could have done it in 2D mode, but I'm going to do it in 3D. So I'm going to hit radius, or fillet, I should say. We're going to come over here, and now I'm going to have to spin this around so you can see those little inside edges. Okay. So I need to grab that edge there, and now I can come over here and I can kind of see where that edge is. So I'm going to hit that right there. Those are 0.19. So grabs them both. I'm going to go down the other side here. We'll pan down, and we're going to do the same thing. Fillet. Let's pan this out of the way. I'm going to grab that edge, and I can come down here, and I can grab that edge. And again, those will be 0.19. I will hit OK. We'll do our isometric view. We'll go back. We'll suppress our canvas. And there is our straight track. So the last thing we need to do is we'll come up and hit save. We're going to type in straight track. And then we will save. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button.